question, can somebody please tell me why? Well, at that point, I had the 7 judges around this machine, and we were all looking for, like, where could a receipt come out of this machine? Well, there was no way a receipt was going to come out of that machine. So I told them that the game was up. I apologized for taking their time, and I turned around and I looked at the people that were standing in line, and I said to them, now you've heard what I've said. I have information out there. Now I'm the lead plaintiff against the state of Colorado, and I'm begging you to please come on board and work with me that we will have no more electronic voting machines. Now, I apologized to them, I shook their hands, and many people on the way out said it was well worth the education of waiting to vote. Now, whether that did any good or not, I don't know, but it was my part. It was my little part of trying to prove a point and trying to educate 50 or 100 people that we do not want to have electronic voting machines. That was one of the things that I've done. I'm the past president of the Colorado National Health Federation. I've owned and worked many businesses. I'm signed on as a making owner of the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. I decided to do this when I found out that the first 10 amendments, or we call them amendments, they're actually the first 10 articles of the Constitution, were voted on and ratified by the people. Those went through, were at the time of our founding fathers when they were alive. And if we review the history, the writings of our founding fathers, they dare us out here that the only way we will be able to keep this piece of paper is if we support this piece of paper. Now, those first 10 amendments are what we live under. The 11th through the 27th amendments were ratified only by Congress, which tells me, when I do my research and in my teaching of the Constitution, tells me that the 11th through the 27th amendments to the Constitution, and those are amendments, only apply to Congress and those who have signed up to be under that. And I'm not. So in my own research, we have already gotten 11 states in the United States signed on to the Declaration of Independence. We're retaking our country. So in the Continental Congress, I am hoping that I will be able to introduce this, showing the people that we want Congress to get back under those first 10 amendments. After all, there were 27 reasons in the Declaration of Independence why we wanted freedom from Great Britain. Among those, first of all, is freedom of religion. We are free out here to have whichever religion we want. That was the main reason that our founding fathers left Great Britain. Down in probably the middle of the 27 reasons was taxation. It was no taxation without representation. But if we look into the stretch that has happened to the United States, we are no longer under. We could go down, we could list those 27 items, and that is what is happening today. That's what's happening to us. And in my declaration, I put in the first, the one about the unalienable rights. We hold these truths self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. Unalienable rights are different from inalienable rights. Unalienable rights come from God. They are granted by God. Inalienable rights are those that are granted by governments, by people, by owners, and that is what happened when we had people who were enslaved because they were given inalienable rights. Then Congress came along and created a 14th Amendment, which really didn't need to happen at all, because if we look at this, it says, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. Our founding fathers never intended that there be slavery, never intended that anything like that should take place in this United States. It happened only because of the money faction later on. Hope that helped. Okay, we never want to ask the hired help for answers. Going to Washington, D.C., demanding that they get back underneath the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution is the only solution that we have. We the people drive that hired help, the created persons. I think I know the danger and the work it will take going to the Continental Congress. Don't misunderstand. My life is just as important and sacred to me as yours is to you. And I also fear what might happen. When I spoke to David about becoming a delegate for the Continental Congress, I said that I would really wish that it would be the men that would do this, because when I watch the information and read the literature on our founding fathers, there were no women there. But maybe, as I said to David, maybe some questions we need to ask, is like Esther asked God. From the Hebrew, she asked, wherefore dost thou forget us? And I won't be able to go into this. I won't be able to quote this. But at that time, Esther was given the answer by God that for such a time as this. Now, whether it's my time to be a delegate or not, I don't know. I have a great background in knowing what we need to do to get back underneath the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. So maybe it's my time. I pray about this. I have no idea. But if you think that I would represent you well, I would ask you to vote for me for the Continental Congress 2009. Thank you.